It's the Premier League Predictor time with Janusz Michallik, and there are a couple of games that have caught your eye this weekend. So I'd like to put them to you, and you can tell me who you think's going to win or whether it will be a draw. And we'll start with a very intriguing fixture between Leicester City and Southampton. Just 3 points between the two sides going into this clash.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're never easy, right? Well, I guess we picked them because otherwise there would be nothing to talk about. But look, it is a tough one for obvious reasons because you're looking at teams who are doing extremely well in the Premier League, two teams that have a distinct identity, right? You know exactly how they're going to play, and two teams that have two absolutely outstanding managers. Because if you look at Brendan Rodgers and Ralph Hasenhüttl, you put him on any team and they'd be successful. I mean, any team in this Premier League. So I just think that, you know, in terms of style, they're sort of similar. You'd say that maybe Southampton presses a little bit higher, and so when I look at this matchup, of course, still not knowing exactly who's going to be playing because we're kind of a few days ahead of it. But regardless, because we've seen both teams suffer already in terms of some injuries. And it wasn't a problem. I mean, you know what comes to mind to me now that I say that, Southampton beating Liverpool. Yes, Liverpool were missing players, but look at Southampton with the spine of the team. Vestergaard didn't play. Romeo in the midfield didn't play. Shea Adams was out. They lost in that game, if I remember correctly, Gianeppo early to injury, and then Danny Ings just before that. So here's a team that still was capable to overcome that. And it's, you know, much tougher for the Saints than it was for Liverpool. And then I look at Leicester City and I say to myself, they've been already good. And now we're starting to see James Maddison come into form, come into rhythm after his injuries and all of that. So if I look at this game, again, it should be very, very interesting. But I think if Leicester City are able to break that press, the way Maddison can play, regardless if he's 100% or not, you know, I look at him and I look at Yuri Tielemans, who's been already much, much better. And I've always liked him. But I think James Maddison makes his role a little bit easier where he can hide a little bit. And when I say hide, I mean that in a very good way, kind of stay under the radar and still you know, be that sort of box-to-box player. And of course, Jamie Vardy benefits from that tremendously. Harvey Barnes, as we know, when he's on, he's very difficult. And Mark Albrighton, you know, after all these years, continue to give you quality. So I just think that, you know, with all things being equal, I think Leicester City wins this one 2-1.
Okay. The massive one this weekend is Liverpool against Manchester United. And it's been made even bigger by the fact that Manchester United went top midweek, 3 points ahead of Liverpool. So how do you see this one playing out?
Well, I mean, look, I think everybody around understood that Liverpool have them in at their best, and then for a while you kind of say, you know that argument. We're like, well, wait till they start playing well. Well, we've been waiting for a while now because there hasn't been too many great performances, and so you have that little bit of a cushion, but you're always looking over your shoulder. And then, you know, let's be honest here on form. You look at Manchester United going into that game with zero pressure. They're ahead right now. I'll get to that because that could be a negative as well, because they haven't been, you know, in this situation for such a long time at this time of the season. But I think just Liverpool has to answer that pressure. They do, and because they are behind, the psychology for me is very important. They have Manchester United. I think they have them in the FA Cup as well, just a couple of days later. But also, I think it's important when you're behind. There's only so many opportunities you get to close that gap. And it's best, of course, when you play against that particular team, because later it's not in your hands. You have to hope that somebody else does it for you. And Manchester United drop points case. So I just think that it's time that Liverpool play well. We know their record at Anfield. We also know that Manchester United are tremendous away from home. We also know that they're unbeaten in 11 games. I mean, they're not flying under the radar, Manchester United. We've seen it coming. It's just what we need to do is be honest with ourselves and apologize to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, all of us, I think, because I can't imagine that there's a pundit out there that didn't question him at one point or another. Some have been harder than others, I think. But look, give him credit that in this Premier League, he's created an atmosphere, culture, a spirit in this team that has Manchester United at the top of the table and firing on almost all cylinders. So Look, my head tells me that Manchester United will not lose this game, and it will be easy to say a draw. It looks that way, Kate, doesn't it? But you know what? I don't like draws. I don't want to sit on the fence if I can. So I'm going to go with Liverpool simply because I think that, antennas are going to be up. They understand it means for this United come to Anfield in a position that they are. And by the way, they also understand that Manchester City with a couple games in hand, and they play in Brighton and they're playing Crystal Palace. Forget United, but when it's all said and done, Manchester City is going to be there within a point or two. And now you're dealing with three teams, and Spurs are not far away. So this is a massive game psychologically for Liverpool. I'm going to give it to them 2-1. I like this score today. Both 2-1 for Leicester City against Southampton, and Liverpool beating Manchester United with hopefully the front three playing to their levels together.
I like it. No fence sitting either, which is always a bonus.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.